We're here in Clifton Park, Half Moon, New York, at the Country Drive-In. The Country Drive-In is an incredible 48-year-old establishment that does seasonal business for all their loyal customers. They have incredible food, incredible ice cream. We're going to go inside. We're going to talk to Lena Riberdy, who owns the Country Drive-In. If you take a look, one thing that you're going to notice right away as we're walking inside to meet Lena is everything is done perfectly here at the Country Drive-In for the customers. Everything is spot on, everything is clean, everything is neat, and every single piece of this business is well thought out. From the countertops, the ice cream service window, from your picnic tables, your awnings here for shade, or if you like to sit in the sun, the perfect location for any nice day to come out and have food, have ice cream, meet your friends, meet your family. Lena runs this wonderful business here. She's been an owner for 10 years. She was a manager from the age of 25, assistant manager when she was 20 years old, actually started working in this business at 13 and has now worked here personally over 29 years. So let's go inside and talk to Lena. They're prepping for another busy summer weekend here at Country Drive-In, so it's a great time to catch her before they open. And you'll notice the theme holds true. Like I said on the outside, everything is perfectly done, well thought out and well planned and clean. Everything inside in the kitchen is spotless. Countertops, floors, walk-ins, coolers, everything. Let's go see Lena. Oh, there she is. How are you, Lena?
Good, how are you?
Awesome. Let's sit down and talk business and talk about the Country Drive-In. What a great place.
All right,
Thanks.
sounds great.
This is good, right in front of the ice cream machines. Beautiful. So thank you so kindly for taking the time to sit down with us. We're really excited to learn more and the viewers to learn more about the Country Drive-In. And I talked a little bit when we were walking in about the 48 years being open, you being here in the business yourself, 29 of those 48 years, and how you started at 13 years old.
I did.
Tell me about that. Not a lot of kids these days especially start work at 13 years old. So what was going through your mind at that point? I know probably not much except I need a few extra bucks, right?
Yeah, no, I wanted extra money, and it was, at the time, friends of the family had owned it, and they're like, yeah, come to work, and it was so much fun, and I never left.
So 13, and then 7 years later, you became assistant manager.
Yeah.
So 20 years old, and then 5 years after that, 25. So by the time you were 25, you had 12 years hands-on experience at this establishment.
Yep.
What did you learn? What were the differences in the things you learned from the time you were 13 to 20, and then from 20 to 25? Was it more about process and training and how to get the right people, or what? I mean, what was it?
Yeah, I think that, I think it started becoming serious. You had to, think about it as a business and not just where you kind of went hung out for 4 hours in the afternoon after school or on the weekends, because all my friends worked here, because you became friends with everybody.
You've continued that culture. We'll talk about that in just a little bit.
Absolutely. But I think I don't know, I think it just, as I grew, my seriousness for it, my passion for it, my love for it grew. Like my ethic never changed. I was always a hard worker. I always put my heart and soul into the place. But as I grew older, I realized it was a business, and I learned more about running a business.
I want to talk about the time when you were 25 to just 10 years ago when you took an ownership role. Mm-hmm. So you were a manager for close to 10 years before you took an ownership role. And you have a business partner.
I do, yes.
And I've been in businesses where I've had partners before, some really great and some not so great. But I think your experience with a business partner, talk about that transition from manager to owner manager and how wonderful it can be if you have the right partner.
Yeah. There really wasn't a big transition because he made it so great. He's great. He's more the back end, the bookwork kind of guy, and I'm the hands-on, and he never questions me. He lets me make my decisions. So I got to still manage it and do everything I was always doing. I was just now an owner. It didn't really change much, but working with him was great. I wouldn't change partners for anybody in the world. He's great.
Well, that mindset that you have about being manager more than being owner, which is interesting because most of the people who come to Country Drive-In would never even know that you own this business.
Yeah.
What is it that's so important to you to be viewed by your customer who has a great experience as the manager?
Yeah, I think it's important because the product that goes out the window is my product, and I want it to be good, but I want people to know that I'm working for it, that I'm not just here collecting the till at the end of the day. You know, I want people to see me as the person. Oh wow, that girl back there cooking, like she's always like so nice and she's so friendly, like she must be a great employee or whatever. Because I don't want to be like, oh, she's the owner, you know, because then they start to think of you differently. You know, like, oh, well, she's not here today because she's the owner. It's not like that. It's not like that at all.
It's opposite of the way most business owners think.
Yeah.
In a place where they have a partner, because that a lot of time relieves pressure. But you seem to want to put all the pressure on yourself, working the long, hard hours. That's a common theme with the people that we interview on the Savvy Saturdays, is the hustle and the grind.
Yeah.
And I know that there's no substitute for hard work, but you wear it as a proud cap to be the hardest working person here, whether it's the toilets or wiping down the countertops
Absolutely.
or floors. How does that transition or trickle down as a culture within your organization?
Well, I think if my employees see me doing what they're doing, they don't have a problem doing it. You know, I don't say go back and do the dishes because I've never done dishes. I've done it all. I've cleaned tables, I've cleaned toilets, and I let them know that. And by me working side by side with them on a daily basis, I think they respect me more and they respect my business more. You know, I don't just come in and point fingers and say do this, do that, and I'll be back at 10 to close up. I'm here, I'm working with them, I'm laughing with them, I'm joking with them, I'm making them feel comfortable, I'm making them feel part of the family. That's what this business is about. That's what country driving is about.
Yeah, it must make it a lot easier to train them too, because
absolutely.
you're already doing those tasks. You
Right.
don't tell your assistant manager, oh, go teach that person how to, how to bus the tables out front, wipe things down. I
Right.
mean, you're doing it anyways.
Right, absolutely. And the thing is that every employee, when they start, I tell the other employees, remember how you were treated when you started. Because I remember how I was treated, and everybody's like, oh, hey, Lena, I'm Karen, I'm Patty, and it was like, they were my long-lost friends that I never knew I had. And I want everybody to be treated like that when they come into this building, and I think that's why they stay here, because they like it. Because everybody's just friendly and gets along. You don't find that a lot of places.
Yeah, and the customer service aspect of that, I mean, I guess this again is a common theme with the people, the successful business people like yourself that we speak to one-on-one about real things in business, the culture of the employees and what you create within the organization, and how that translates to the experience that the customer gets consistently with really good customer service. And I know you're known for your customer service here, otherwise a business couldn't survive 48 years that's seasonal.
Oh, absolutely. A happy employee makes a happy customer. Because, if the customer sees everybody in there and they're happy and they're smiling, and then they're smiling. If everybody in here is like blasé, they're standing out there like, when am I going to get my cone? When am I going to get my ice cream? Like, what's going on here? These people are miserable. That's not what goes on here at all. Everybody's always smiling. Ooh, everybody has a bad day, let's be real. But for the most part, it's just a happy place, inside and out.
What's a lot of fun, and probably isn't so much fun, and the viewers probably don't know this, but you have 57 employees here.
Correct.
43 of those 57 employees are 18 years or younger.
They are.
So that's where, you've got the ultimate of all drama here. You've got middle school drama, and you're a high employer of 13, 14-year-old people who just get their working papers.
Mm-hmm.
So you're preparing them and transitioning them from kind of hanging out, enjoying their summer, to learning responsibility.
Right.
But drama, bad days, emotions,
Mm-hmm.
boyfriend, girlfriend,
Oh,
breakups
absolutely.
happen.
Yeah.
And so that culture that you create to have that customer service experience where 3/4 of your entire staff is 18 or under, I mean, that's amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, how do you do it besides just leading from the front and doing it yourself?
I think that they keep me young here, but I also get to be the friend, I get to be the boss, I get to be the parent. So I think that everything stays under wraps because they know they can come to me and be like, I'm having a horrible day, my boyfriend broke up with me. And I'm like, okay, but that customer needs to be waited on. And then all of a sudden they forgot about the boyfriend for the next 4 hours. So I think that's how all the drama and everything is just like kept low, and attitudes are left at the door when they come in. You know, it's unique here. It really is. I have a lot of employees that go get winter jobs and are texting me by like January and like, when are we opening? Because I hate my job. I'm like, oh, country driving's not so bad. They're like, no, country driving's great. You know, because it's a family. You know, it's like going home.
That's a perfect way to go into the next thing I wanted to talk about. They're texting you in the wintertime. Any thoughts? I mean, when people drive by and see how busy you are every day, lines at the ice cream window, lines of people at the food window, getting all the handcrafted food, everything is made to order here. Incredible business and system that you have in place here with both sides of the house.
Mm-hmm.
And you have an incredible ice cream business, and totally separate, you have an incredible full service kitchen where you have lobster rolls and you have hamburgers and hot dogs and
Right.
great handcrafted food. So people would say, well, why isn't she open year long? And when I first was exposed to your business and establishment, I was like, wow, well, they could add this on and cover it up and people could eat inside in the winter. But you told me in private, which is now not going to be private,
Right.
no way. Why wouldn't you? Can you explain why that's a bad idea?
Yeah, it just takes away the excitement of the opening, the excitement of the closing. It takes away the season. You know, like, people aren't going to come here in December because who's really thinking of a fish fry? Who's really thinking of, you know, a cherry dip vanilla ice cream cone? You're not. You're thinking of warm, cozy foods, and we're not warm and cozy. You know, we're sunny and relaxed. So that's, you know, really different, because we would never survive year round. We would work just as hard. We'd work harder because we'd be striving for business in those winter months, and we really wouldn't make any more money because the wow factor. There wouldn't be a 10, 9, 8 country drive-ins open. You know, there wouldn't be a sign on the road. There wouldn't be the Facebook comments going around about country drive-in's opening in 5 days. Meet you at the country drive-in opening day. You know, and then when we're getting ready to close, everybody's like, country drive-in's closing. Oh no, I gotta go get my fill. I'm going every day this week. You know, it's a big thing. Like, this being seasonal is what makes this business really work. And personally, I couldn't do it 12 months. It's a long 6 months, and it's a great 6 months, but it's not a year-round business. Never.
And here's some more challenges. We always like to come straight. I mean, these are not all, you know, easy questions to talk about how great it is to own Country Drive-In. It's the restaurant business, and restaurant businesses are very difficult.
Mm-hmm.
On top of that, it's a seasonal restaurant business. So be very specific about the challenges of the seasonality of the business and how difficult it is when it's supposed to be pouring rain and it's sunny out, and it's supposed to be sunny out and all of a sudden it's pouring rain for 2 days.
Yeah.
How do you overcome that in this business?
The biggest thing you have to overcome is that you can never make it up. If it rained all day on Tuesday, you're not going to make it up on Wednesday. Because the people that are coming on Wednesday weren't coming on Tuesday. You know, you never make up the business, and it's hard. It's hard, you know, knowing what to prepare, how many people you need to work. The sun comes out, then you're kind of like, oh no, what do I do? So that aspect, it's really hard, but you just have to move on, because you can't change the weather. You know, you can change what you do behind the scenes, but you're not going to change what Mother Nature's giving you. So you just do the best you can with it. I mean, it's a guessing game. It's like a lotto ticket. You scratch it and hope you win.
So let me give you a situation and you tell me how you generally handle it, because
Okay.
I know you've probably been through it a million times in 29 years that you've been here, and I know the building itself has been through it a million and a half times in 48 years. So you have a day that's supposed to be sunny, and instead it pours rain out. You've over-prepared food, and you've scheduled 15 kids to work that day, including your assistant manager, whoever, and now it's going to rain for the next 24 hours. What do you do as far as scheduling goes? What do you do as far as food goes? And how do you handle a day like that?
Yeah, as far as scheduling, you just start going down the list. I rotate everybody out, but I give them the option. I call them and say, do you want to work today or you don't want to work today? And some take it, some want to work, some are like, oh yeah, I'm not feeling well, that's great. You know, so the employees really work with me in that aspect. I never have to say, like, no, you have to leave. I can't afford to pay you. You know, it never comes down to that. And if they really want to stay, then they stay, and I eat it. You know, it is what it is at some point. But as for prepping, we just don't prep. I mean, I would rather be making something straight off the stove into the bucket, cooling it down and adding the vegetables and getting it made and putting it out the window rather than it sitting there. Because I don't let anything sit, and I'm not going to serve something that's a couple days old because it rained. I just don't make it. My process just gets cut off, and then we pick up a little bit harder when the sun comes back out.
And the culture, and I'm going to transfer over that culture into the next question, which is another scenario, and we'll be able to really see where you shine as far as training the people, and it really is family here. So you have days where it's supposed to pour rain out, 2 straight days on a weekend, which is your busiest time, and instead there's not a drop of rain. Now you haven't ordered for good weather on Friday, so you don't have enough lobster, maybe you don't have enough of the ice cream or the dips, or there's certain things that you normally carry that maybe you under-ordered or under-procured because you expected a total washout, plus you scheduled lightly because you may have pre-cut some kids because they said, there was some really nasty weather coming, but the sun's out, the beaches are open, so to speak, and you're here. What do you do in that case?
You pick up the phone and start making phone calls. I'm really loyal to my employees and to all my, suppliers, my salespeople. And my employees always come through, and so do my suppliers. I can call the one guy I use, Van, and be like, you know what, I'm not going to have enough burgers for the weekend or chicken tenders. And he's like, all right, let me see if I can get my dad go to the warehouse, or let me have this one go down. And they come through for me. All my companies, I use a lot of small companies, and it really pays off because they have my back. And my employees, I can pick up the phone and be like, hey, I know it's sunny, but I need you. And they'll be like, all right, no problem. What time do you want me to come in? And that's a big thing with my employees is I do favors for them. I mean, some of them will text me at like 11:30 at night and be like, oh my God, my friend just invited me to go somewhere tomorrow, but I have to work. And I'm like, all right, I'll get it covered. Because I was here when I was young, and I remember what it was like to not be able to go to places. And so if you have the opportunity to do something, that's fine. I'll help you out, and then in return, they help me out. So it's one hand washes the other, and it all works out.
Yeah, and another recurring theme, I like to talk about recurring themes, is relationships and the strength and bond of cultivating business and personal relationships over time, which always help you in personal and business. And here's the exact case. Your relationships you've built through the right culture here.
Right.
If there's a problem, you call someone up and they're there for you because they care, because they really are family in the relationship. But it doesn't just end there, it's also with your distributors and your vendors.
Right.
You have a problem and you need something, they're going to go the extra mile to make sure you have it so you can operate successfully. And it's not so they don't lose the account.
Right.
It's so they help you be successful because you have a relationship with them, and they know if the shoe is on the other foot, you also have their back.
Right, yeah.
That's so fabulous and goes along with that theme. The next thing I want to talk to you about may be a sore subject, and that has to do with the New York State minimum wage requirements for a business owner. Yeah. Out of those 57 employees that you have, 57 employees, 53 of those 57 are hourly. And you actively hire young, maybe unattractive employees to other businesses because it's seasonal and a lot of them are part-time. So you're preparing 14, 15-year-old kids on a daily basis in the summertime during season to get ready for maybe that next step or that next job when they're 17 or 18. You have an 80% retention rate with your employees. Or 97% retention rate with your employees. 80% of the employees have a relative or a friend working here, but 97% retention rate season over season, but the high percentage of those are all hourly. So what type of pressure does that New York State increase in minimum wage put on you to have these hourly employees making wages, which might affect some of the more seasoned employees who've been here for years?
It really hurts. It hurts all small businesses, not just mine. But it hurts the people that have been working here long term more, because now I can't afford to give them the raises that I would normally give them because the jump in minimum wage is so much from year to year. I'm paying, 70 cents more from last year to this year per hour. How can I give everybody else, a 50, 75 cent raise. I can't do it. It's impossible. And it's the people that have been with me for a while that are actually taking the hit. Besides me, because, I have to increase my prices. And, customers, they don't understand that. They think that I'm just trying to put more money in my pocket, but I'm not. I'm trying to cover these wages. I'm trying to cover the cost increase. I mean, milk goes up every year in the market. It goes up for me too. Just because I'm a business doesn't mean I don't take the hit on anything. Everything goes up from year to year, and the public doesn't understand that. They think restaurants are just getting it cheaper than they are for some reason, but we don't. There's so much overhead, and then you put this minimum wage in it, and it's horrible. This summer it really had me stressed out, because I like to hire 14 and 15-year-olds. I like to give them the opportunity. It benefits me because most of them stay all through high school, all through college, till they get, till they go into their career job. And this isn't a career job for 98% of the people. People move on from here. They go to college and they get a degree and they become a teacher or a lawyer or whatever. But they work for me for 8 years while they're doing it, and I enjoy having them at that age. I enjoy watching them grow and going to be successful. But this minimum wage thing is just, it kills you. It absolutely kills you. It kills anybody that's trying to run a small business. Because my biggest thing is, you have working cards. You have a blue card and a green card. 14 and 15 are on blue. 16 and 17 are on green. I think those should also have different pay rates with them. I'm not saying that they're worth any less, but it just doesn't make it realistic to have to pay someone $10 an hour when I have to train them. Everything, I babysit them for the first season. It's babysitting. They don't know anything about a time clock. They don't know anything about a scheduling. They don't know anything about why taxes came out of their check. They don't know any of this. And I'm teaching them all this, but yet you want me to pay, the 25-year-old the same amount of money. It's not fair. It's just this system of minimum wage in New York State is not fair. Not fair at all.
You think that they would have, and maybe in the future they'll make changes to institute like thresholds where the 14, 15, or 16 and 17-year-olds, or in seasonal businesses where there's a certain percentage break of part-time employees who are only there for the season. There's different laws that are legislated where it gives the small seasonal business with the high percentage of part-time employees a break for that.
Right.
That doesn't even come. Now you touched a little bit on the cost of goods here, so to speak. The produce and the dairy, and you have a huge ice cream business, and then you have a huge business. The meat costs. There's so much overhead here, and a big misconception, and we have not discussed this at all, but it's a funny misconception. You were saying that the consumer thinks that you get it cheaper. Well, there's a high likelihood that most of the products that you buy through your distributor, you pay more for those at your business than someone who goes to Sam's Club as a consumer. They pay less.
Right.
But they're under the misconception that you pay less. So even though minimum wage is going up to $10 and it's going to keep going up, and you've got to pay the employees what you have to pay them, and all of your overhead is more expensive than the consumer, that when they come to your window, they find it necessary to complain because an ice cream cone went up 10 cents over last year.
Yeah.
How is that for you? See, these are the perils of owning and operating a business. You're one of the ones who have a very successful business, owning now 10 years, being here 29, and this establishment been open 5 decades. But how do you deal with that on a day-to-day basis when you have those objections, or you have to overcome them, and the misconception of you have a gold mine here? That's the funny thing. So Lena, you have a gold mine here. How do you answer that question?
Did you ever see how hard a gold miner works? It's not easy. Everybody thinks you make tons of money, but you work really hard for every penny you earn. Every penny. Like I said earlier, I don't just come in and collect the till and go put it in my personal bank account. There's bills to be paid, there's employees to be paid. There's not a lot of money left at the end of the day, but this is what I love. I don't do it because I have a gold mine. I do it because I love it. And that's why it's important for me to be a manager. That's what I want people to see. I want people to see that I'm happy doing my job. I'm happy being a cook. I'm happy being a fryer. I'm happy making ice cream. That's what makes me happy. It's not about the money. But everybody has that because the parking lot's full. All that money is just going right into the bank account. We don't have to pay for the food. We don't have to pay for the employees. We pay for nothing. Everybody just thinks that all that money that goes in the register just goes in our pocket. And it doesn't. It's far from that. And you know, there's seasons where you're hoping to get through the season because it rained all year, you know, or you had snow for the month of April. I mean, there's a lot of factors that go into this business that the people on the other side of the window don't take seriously. And when they say to me like, oh, prices went up again, I'm like, I know, so didn't the milk at the market. You know, and I try to make a joke about it because I just kind of want them to relate it to like real life. Like, 'cause this is real life. Just because you're coming here to eat doesn't mean I get everything for free. You know, it's hard. It's hard. It's really hard dealing with the public because I'd say a good 75% don't understand. They don't.
Yeah. They want prices to go down every year, but they still want the same high level of service.
Yeah.
And they don't want anything to change or the quality at all. They just want to pay less.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. You know, and every year it's either the dairy market, the beef market, you know, the produce market. Every year, one of the markets skyrockets. I start pricing in February, and to do my pricing, and I try to only increase prices every other year because I'm only open for 6 months. But I'm technically taking a hit of 2 increases because I'm taking both years if I skip a year and don't increase prices. So if I'm nickel and diming it, I don't think it's bad. I don't think it's bad at all. Because even like your fast food chains, I don't go to them very often, but when I do, I'm like, really? I'm paying this much for this food? Like, because I just thought that was cheap food. I thought we were expensive because people are like, oh, it's so expensive. Like, McDonald's is just as expensive. What are you talking about? And this is fresh, and this is good.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not sure. So yeah, it's hard. The public is definitely great to work with, but definitely difficult to get them to understand. But
Now, anyone who watches this video and they want to open up a seasonal ice cream, handcrafted, to-order food business, what would the advice you'd give them be?
plan on giving up nights and weekends. Plan on working it. And only do it if it's your passion. If you're just doing it to go into business, this is not the business just to go into. There's a lot of work that goes into a seasonal business. Because you have to prepare to open, you have to prepare to close. There's so much, it's not just a consistent going. And I would never just say like, oh yeah, you want to open an ice cream shop? Go for it. There's a lot that goes along with it. It's more than just pouring ice cream in the machine, you know? I think that these businesses, and it's proven, if you look at any of the local businesses that are like this, they're owned and operated, you know, by the owners, and that's what makes these places go. If you're just gonna like turn it over to a bunch of teenagers, which I've seen a lot of them do, and they're not open any longer, it doesn't work, because you have to be here. You have to watch this kind of business. You have to want to be in this business, and this is a business that you have to have a passion for sure.
Well, your passion and your love for your food and your ice cream and your employees and your customer service and your commitment to the culture here has obviously made you the success that you are. So thank you so much for sitting down. It was a wonderful, wonderful chat, and I look forward to speaking again in the future.
Thank you.
Thank you
very
so
much.
kindly. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you at the next edition of the Savvy Saturday Interviews.